y'all, it's Heel Heat time.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to Heel Heat. My name is George Coles, and on this episode, we're bringing back an old favorite. This one we're collaborating with our good friend Poppa Pickett from Gamers Never Grow Up. That's right, we're bringing back the prediction challenge. Me versus Poppa. Basically, we're going to make our choices. There's going to be a punishment, which we'll talk all about this during the video. And we'll go from there. The topic for this prediction challenge, WWE Royal Rumble 2019. Now, basically, whoever gets the most picks right, each pick will be worth a point, blah, blah, blah. The winner wins, loser loses. We'll talk about that at the end of the video. Let's jump right into it. First, with the matches on the pre-show. First off, we have for the Cruiserweight Championship, Buddy Murphy versus Akira Tozawa versus Hideo Itami versus Kalisto. I'm going to go with Itami here. I think it's time that they start trying to use him or push him. I have a feeling that they want to get something out of him. I mean, let's be honest, he was a major signing when he signed with WWE, who hasn't really panned out the way that they would hope. And even for the fans, he hasn't panned out the way I had hoped. But I think they may use this as a way to catapult him into a better position. So I'm going with Itami on that. Next up for the U.S. Championship, Rusev defending against Shinsuke Nakamura. I'm going to go with Nakamura here. I think Nakamura, again, much like I said with Itami, I think he needs a prominent role at WrestleMania. Last year, his match wasn't the greatest match. So maybe him winning here and facing Rusev for a third time at Mania, or some up-and-comer, Mustafa Ali or Andrade Cien Almas, one of those guys maybe, or even someone like Rey Mysterio, where we could see Shinsuke have a great WrestleMania moment. I mean, the guy deserves it. Next up, we have for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships, The Bar versus Shane McMahon and The Miz. I think this could go two ways. I think Shane and Miz could start the split and build a match between the two for Mania, or they could win here and the split start at Mania, building a match at SummerSlam. So I'm going to go with the latter, and I'm going to go with Shane McMahon and The Miz picking up the tag titles. For one of the main reasons why I want to do this is, as you'll see as we go along, I don't think there's going to be many title changes here, and with as many titles that are on the line, I think they could easily have the Bar win it back on SmackDown or Elimination Chamber or any time between now and WrestleMania if they want the Bar to go into WrestleMania with that. But I think this is the way they go. Shane and Miz pick up the win, in my opinion. Next up, we have Ronda Rousey versus Sasha Banks. To me, this is almost a no-brainer with the Women's Tag Team Championship coming up very soon. I expect Sasha and Bayley to be the first champions. I'd be surprised if they weren't. I think this is a placeholder just to give Ronda Rousey something to do until WrestleMania with a quality opponent. I'm picking Ronda to pick up the win here. I don't see her losing her championship before WrestleMania. Now, the SmackDown Women's Championship. We have Asuka versus Becky Lynch. I think Asuka wins, and with a caveat. I think that either Ronda Rousey or Charlotte Flair interferes in a way that costs Becky Lynch the match. This could easily go with a no contest, but I think Becky gets cost the match, which brings Becky into the Rumble, which we'll talk about in a minute. So I think Asuka retains here, especially since we can build to Asuka doing something different at WrestleMania. maybe Asuka versus Naomi, Asuka versus Ember Moon, Nikki Cross. There's a couple different ways we could go with her to have her championship defended in a prominent way. Next up, we have Daniel Bryan defending his World Championship or WWE Championship against AJ Styles. I see Bryan retaining. I don't see any reason to take it off. His heel run is just getting started. It's starting to build momentum. And I think they're going to want to build on that and see how far they can go with this. Daniel Bryan is a bankable commodity, whether he's a heel or a face, and I think keeping him heel for a little while is going to build interest. And then, of course, again, you have different ways you could go with it. Bryan versus Mustafa Ali, Bryan versus Almas, there's several ways you could go a WrestleMania match with it. So I think Bryan retains here. AJ has a strong showing because he's AJ Styles. Why wouldn't he? And I dare to say that this will be the match of the night. Now for the Universal Championship, we have Brock Lesnar versus Finn Balor. And this one is almost 100% guaranteed. I do not see Finn Balor beating Brock Lesnar, especially in the road to WrestleMania. I don't see that happening. I'd like to see it happen. Would I like to? Would I book it to happen? Yes. Do I think WWE is going to pull the trigger and do that? No. As much as they talk about change and how much they are going to change everything, I don't think they pull the trigger on it. I think Brock picks up the win in a somewhat convincing fashion. Now, next up, we're going to talk about these, and then I'm going to mention how we're going to do the contest here. First off, for the Women's Royal Rumble, and these picks are just for the show only. I'm going to talk about that in a second. For the Women's Royal Rumble, I see, and I've said it, I made a predictions video for 2019, and it's one of the things I predicted. I think we're going to see a Luger and Brett finish where Charlotte, Flair, and Becky Lynch both get eliminated or both hit the floor at the same time and have dual winners, setting up a match at WrestleMania, Charlotte Flair versus Becky Lynch versus Ronda Rousey. And I'm sticking with that for my predictions. I think that's the way it's going to go. As far as the men's side of the Rumble, again, I think this is a pretty obvious choice. I believe they're setting up for Seth Rollins versus Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania, so I'm going to go with Seth Rollins. Now, those two picks don't count towards the challenge because the way we're going to do the Royal Rumble, because it's so weird and hard to pick it, we each selected before this video was made, and Paul's going to make it, or Poppa, Paul, whatever you want to call him, is going to make his own video, and he actually randomized the numbers. I trust Paul with everything. He's a great friend of mine. He's someone that I really respect, so I trust that he was on the up and up, and as you'll see, I think he was more than fair. He randomized the numbers. We each get 5 picks. Now, in the 5 picks will go for both matches. If one of these 5 numbers hits, if the winner comes from that position, you will get the point for that match. So in other words, if the 7th person wins the Women's Rumble and Paul has number 7, he gets a point. If the 13th person wins the Men's Rumble and I have 13, I get a point. With that being said, Paul's numbers are 1, 13, 15, 16, and 21. My numbers, which I'm actually really happy about, although I think the number 1 is kind of one of them numbers that they, every now and again, they want to build somebody to go the full length. So maybe if Rollins wins, Paul might get a win from number 1. But I digress. My numbers, which I'm really happy about because I got some back end numbers: 3, 17, 20, 26, and 27, which we always see in all the commercials. More people have won from number 27 than any other number. So I'm really happy with the numbers I got. I think we both got some solid numbers. Paul, a little bit front heavy. I'm a little bit back heavy. But as we've seen in Royal Rumbles past, your winner can literally come from anywhere. So, with that being said, either one of us can win. Now, just a quick rundown before we go and talk about our other portions of the challenge. I got a Tommy winning the Cruiserweight title, Nakamura winning the US title, McMahon Miz winning the SmackDown Tag titles, Rousey keeping the Raw Women's Championship, Asuka keeping the SmackDown Women's Championship, Bryan keeping the WWE Championship, Brock keeping the Universal Championship, Charlotte and Becky winning the Women's Rumble, Rollins winning the Men's Rumble. And for our tiebreaker, in case we finish with the exact same number of picks correct, the tiebreaker we chose was how many legend entrances would be in the Rumbles, the two women's and men's put together. And by legend, we're not talking about a comeback like someone like Bray Wyatt or Matt Hardy that's on the roster and just been out. We mean, and we're going to use this loosely, a legend like someone like the Boogeyman or, Hornswoggle or Carlito or Booker T or any wrestler that's not on the roster that was formerly on the roster. So NXT debuting wrestlers don't count. Debuting wrestlers from other companies, like possibly Abyss, don't count. It has to be someone kind of, it could be a legend from another company, so someone like, Sting would count, or Shane Douglas, someone like that. Yeah, that makes sense. But I digress. But if someone happens to come into either match, and I think, I'm going to say 7 just because you usually get 1 or 2 at least in the Men's Rumble, just for that nostalgia pop. I think the Women's Rumble last year, we've seen a huge number of them, and we have more women on the rosters now that we don't need to lean on that crutch. But I still think they're going to go a little heavy, probably about 5, so that's why I'm going with 7. So that's my tiebreaker is 7. Whoever gets the closest to the correct number gets the tiebreaker if it comes to that. And finally, the stakes. Both myself and Paul are really excited about All Elite Wrestling and the start of a new company. We think it's going to do big things. We think it's going to be a major competitor. We like the people involved. So the loser will have to purchase the winner an official AEW shirt from the Pro Wrestling Tees store. Now, that could be their logo. It could be anything that's in their official AEW merchandise store. So they have Cody Rhodes shirts, they have Hangman Page shirts, Brandy Rhodes so far, a Young Buck shirt, Jericho shirt, their logo, the Double or Nothing logo, anything of that nature. The caveat's going to be we're content creators on YouTube. So if Paul loses, he picks a shirt and sends it to me. I'm not going to know what it is. I'm going to open it on screen, on video. So it'll be an unboxing video for me. Vice versa. If Paul wins, I'm going to purchase him a shirt. I'm not going to tell him what it is. And he's going to do a blind unboxing on his channel. So basically, the winner is going to get some content for their show. And also a sweet shirt. All the shirts that they have on there are really sweet. I like them all. We talked about this. I mentioned to him, full disclosure, I said, hey, honestly, is there any shirt here that you would not want. And he said no, and I feel the same way. All of the shirts on there, I would want. And I'm gonna clear that with if he wins, I'm gonna clear that with him again before I make my choice, and hopefully he gives me the same caveat. Because, it is a prize, so you do want to get something you like. But I like the idea of a surprise prize, if you get what I'm saying. But anyway, with all that being said, good luck to you, Brother Paul. Poppa Pickett, as you may know him from Gamers Never Grow Up. Good luck, my brother. I hope the best man wins, which will be me. But I hope we have a good contest. Either way, I enjoy these videos. I always thought they were really fun. It's a fun way to work with each other, to get, have videos that we share. Good luck, my brother. But with all that being said, my name is George Coles, and these have been my predictions for the Royal Rumble 2019.